So this right here is the brand new Google Pixel 10 Pro XL, obviously one of Google's new devices. The main reason you're watching this for the XL version is the size compared to, of course, the cheaper 10 Pro, the even cheaper, the base standard Pixel 10. So if you are looking for a larger device, you literally only have the XL to look at. So the display, of course, bigger, 6.8 inches. It's a super actual display. This actually has LTPO tech, so from 1 to 120 hertz compared to the standard or like the base Pixel 10, which is just 60 to 120. It's also slightly brighter as well. Peak brightness gets up to 3300 versus the 3000 on the 10. The chip is the same, so like the Tensor G5, which is new, which we'll get to in a second. The camera, which actually 3 sensors are all technically different compared to the 10, but that also has 3 sensors now compared to the 2 from the Pixel 9. That's a bit of a tongue twister, and technically those are also a bit of a downgrade, which is maybe worth a separate video. But in all, I've been using this as my main device for the past week and a half since the launch date where we saw the release of all devices, all different colorways. This is their signature color called Moonstone. It is the best out of the bunch. It also comes in obsidian, which is just black, porcelain white, or a bit of an off-white, as well as jade. This one looks really cool. It's just like this kind of muted gray. If you guys are Audi fans, like Nardo gray with maybe like a touch of bluish purple. I'm talking all things Audi now as I got that brand new station wagon in my life. But overall, the design language of the phone remains pretty consistent from what we've seen from the 9 Pro. This phone has been leaked to the ends of the earth, so we knew what was coming. The camera bar, which is pretty iconic Pixel now, which people have complained about forever, is still there. Can't even get mad because iPhone is now copying that with the upcoming 17 Pro. They're gonna have something similar. So obviously Google is onto something. It still feels very premium, and maybe more people will enjoy that now because one of the new features is kind of built into the back. If you have a bit of X-ray, it's called Pixel Snap, which is essentially MagSafe for Pixels. They've come out with their entire lineup of accessories as well. This, for example, the little ring stand, which as you would expect from any Pixel Snap or MagSafe accessory, just snaps right to the back. And now you've got this little handy ring, which you can use to watch content. You can do a lot more things with the device when it's naked, and maybe you don't need an extra accessory or a case. Obviously, you can still get those, but you can see the Pixel Snap indication by that small little ring. Once again, very similar to Apple, which they even said in their keynote, it is fine to mention the A word.
Little secret that this works perfectly fine with your Apple MagSafe accessories.
Bruh.
And just like the phone, the accessories still work, and this even works with all your existing MagSafe accessories if you have any extra. Is it copying Apple? Yeah. Is that a bad thing? No, I think it's one of the best things to have on any device. I think all phone manufacturers should have some sort of magnet integration into the back and just call it whatever they want. But other than those minor hardware changes, one of the biggest somehow being a magnet, I find that the biggest features of this phone are actually just all related to software. I find myself downloading every new feature. I get that this is like a pre-release phone. I still have to download a couple things, but it's a weird feeling. The new features I'm downloading, which means if you have an older device, you can technically download that as well. So to the actual device now, the big change here is actually coming to the software, or I guess the UI, which is called Material 3 Expressive. Everything's being given a bit of a refresh. Apps look a bit newer. The entire device just seems a bit smoother. Animations are nice. It feels up to date with what we're seeing this year. Every phone is doing something similar these days. So to the next big thing, which has always been Google's strength, has been the camera, and that remains the same in the 10 Pro. So to the actual specs, we have a 50 megapixel main, a 48 megapixel ultra wide, as well as 48 megapixel telephoto. That gets up to 5x, and you also have the ability to take a 50 megapixel portraits. Link's looking like an all-star. I will say this is the best camera experience on any Android phone. That's pretty easy to say. Google's computational photography is second to none. I find that Samsung photos are sometimes a bit too saturated, a bit too sharp. I feel like Google really knows how to render and process their photos. Stuff just looks more natural. I'd say the performance is a toss-up between the iPhone. I've taken a bunch of different photo comparisons against my iPhone. I'll let you guys be the judge on which is better. For the first couple, I actually didn't label which is which, and let me know if the end results surprise you. But color reproduction is great. Photos look nice and sharp, but where this really shines, like I said, is the computational side. So with AI, every phone has a lot of AI features. I will say that Google is one of the best, especially for, say, image generation. Magic Eraser, which is probably the oldest, but still maybe the most used piece of software editing within any photo app, is still the best on Google. Image detection is just so much better, removing, say, unwanted people from a photo. They've got Auto Best Take, they have ADME. I honestly don't use those as much. They've got ProRes Zoom now, which which you can now zoom up to 100 times. Obviously that's all digital. Then AI will kind of take over and post-sharpen and post-process that what it thinks the photo should look like that zoomed in. Honestly, it's not too bad. They've got something called Camera Coach in case you aren't as adept at taking photos. It will actually tell you through AI what to do. Link. So I just, snagged a little photo of Link, who's actually just off camera there, just kind of keeping me company. It will actually tell you dog and distance storefront. So say I want a close up. It'll tell me step by step how to get a closer or how to get a better shot like this. Now I can just zoom in tighter. Maybe that was 2x Link. And that outcome isn't too bad. It's nice if you aren't someone that isn't as adept at taking photos just to have those different options. Once again, are you gonna use every single one of those AI features every single time? Maybe you're looking to find one that works for you, but like I said, Magic Eraser, the oldest, it's the most tried and tested, still the one that I use the most. Speaking of Magic Eraser, the next big feature in the new Pixels are what's called Magic Queue, which is essentially a suggestion-based AI integrated feature into your phone. So say for example, you're chatting with a friend, you currently have a reservation for dinner somewhere, you need to change that. Within your text prompt, you'll actually get this little notification to change that. Magic Queue will work behind the scenes to pull up that reservation info. It will connect with a restaurant and then automatically change it within a couple steps. Normally you have to manually input that, switch between a couple apps, which is really annoying. Same kind of thing with flight info. If someone is asking, what time is your flight arriving, Magic Queue will work behind the scenes, find through your information what time your flight is, and you can just tap once to send them that info. Once again, I think the big thing here is not having to switch between multiple apps, which is key. I still need to use that a bit more in depth. I feel like it's very use case specific, and maybe it's one of those things again where you find something that it works really well for you. Maybe on others it doesn't work as well. Maybe I just need to give it a bit more time to essentially read more of my info. Obviously Google says it's very safe, it's on device, it's secure, but it is a little bit worrying that this little AI robot is just knowing everything about you. You sign up for that anyways when you hit accept on the terms and agreements. It's the start of Skynet taking over the world. But a lot of AI features obviously highlighted in the new Pixel. For the rest of the AI stuff, once again, they talked about it nonstop. They have, in-call voice translators. You can talk with someone around the world in a different language that will automatically change to whatever language you select. You've got Gemini as your AI personal assistant. Once again, every one of those use cases are super, super dope, really, really cool. Maybe you use it like once a year. Maybe you are a person that uses it every day and you can prove me wrong. But if there are like specific use cases for AI that you found useful, please let me know. I think they overdo it sometimes, and that's kind of the summary of what the Pixel is. It's a spec bump, so we have the new G5 Tensor chip. Tensor G5, that's reversed. Slight bump up in the camera, slight bump up in the performance. Yes, they've made things look a bit cleaner with a Material 3 Expressive, but other phones will also get that. You've got 7 years of updates, so a lot of those features will trickle down to other Google phones. If you've already got the Pixel 9 Pro, you probably don't need to upgrade unless you are just in love with this Moonstone colorway. I will say at least the pricing has gone unchanged. So for the 10 Pro XL, that is still $1199, that's US. $1629 Canadian, that's for the 256 gig option. That's obviously base pricing. If you want higher storage, that will naturally get more expensive. That's my thoughts on the Pixel 10. Still a great device, still a really good camera, and if you are a big fan of MagSafe, Pixel Snap, that is actually one of the key physical differences that you are getting hardware-wise. So let me know your thoughts if you are planning on grabbing one. If you want to see this against any other devices, let me know, and I will catch the rest of you in one of my next vids.